Every day we do things that feel completely harmless. We sip our morning coffee, check our phones, rush through breakfast, sit in traffic, work, come home, maybe pour a glass of wine, scroll a bit more, and finally fall asleep in front of the TV. These patterns, so ordinary and repetitive, feel safe because everyone does them. Yet for millions of people over 50, these same daily rituals quietly accelerate the aging process, making the body and mind older than they really are. The face begins to look more tired, the skin duller, the joints stiffer, the mind a bit foggier. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow drift, one that starts with seemingly innocent habits that over time can add 10 or even 15 biological years to your life. Most people don't notice it until it's already visible in the mirror or felt in the morning when getting out of bed. The truth is, aging isn't just about time, it's about where, neglect, and what we do or fail to do each day. And what's surprising is how many of these small unnoticed mistakes can be reversed once you become aware of them. Let's begin with one of the most overlooked ones: dehydration. Many people over 50 think they're drinking enough water because they don't feel thirsty, but the body's thirst mechanism weakens with age. The result? Chronic, low-level dehydration that quietly affects everything, from your skin elasticity to your blood flow, brain function, and even how your heart pumps. When your body doesn't get enough water, your cells literally shrink. Your blood becomes thicker, making your heart work harder to circulate oxygen. Your kidneys filter less efficiently, your metabolism slows down, and toxins linger longer in your system. Over the years, this invisible stress wears down the organs, contributes to fatigue, and accelerates wrinkles and joint pain. You might look older because your skin cells aren't plump enough to stay firm, or feel older because your muscles and joints don't move with the same ease. Hydration is one of those daily habits that sound too simple to matter, yet it's the foundation of vitality. A dehydrated cell is a dying cell, and when millions of them suffer together, the body shows it. In the skin, the eyes, the mood, and even in how fast you think. Another silent mistake happens early in the morning. Many people start their day with a breakfast that spikes their blood sugar, toast with jam, cereal, or even just coffee with sugar. It feels harmless because that's what breakfast has always been. But after 50, your cells become less sensitive to insulin, meaning your body doesn't handle sugar as efficiently. Each time you start your morning with a glucose spike, you trigger inflammation, oxidative stress, and a roller coaster of energy, highs and lows. You might feel fine for a few hours, then tired, moody, and craving another boost. Over time, this pattern silently damages your blood vessels, brain cells, and skin collagen. The result isn't just weight gain, it's premature aging at the cellular level. Scientists call it glycation, a process where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your body, making them stiff and damaged. Glycation literally makes your skin less elastic, your arteries less flexible, and your brain slower to process information. Every spoon of sugar in the morning adds a small invisible layer of age throughout your body. Then comes the next everyday mistake: sitting too much. The modern world has trained us to stay still, working at a desk, driving, watching screens, but human biology was never meant for this much stillness. The muscles in your legs are like pumps that help move blood and lymphatic fluid throughout your body. When you sit for long stretches, that circulation slows, oxygen delivery drops, and inflammation increases. After 50, this becomes a dangerous mix. Slow circulation means less nourishment to your skin, joints, and brain. Your mitochondria, the energy producers inside each cell, receive less oxygen, making you feel tired faster. Meanwhile, your lymphatic system, which helps clear out waste and toxins, becomes sluggish, causing puffiness, stiffness, and even immune weakness. You might notice it in swollen ankles, in the way your knees ache when you stand, or in how easily you feel fatigued after long periods of inactivity. The frightening part: even if you exercise once a day, prolonged sitting can undo many of its benefits. Movement isn't just about burning calories, it's about keeping the inner rivers of your body flowing. Another daily mistake hides in something most people don't even consider: breathing. Shallow breathing, especially common with stress or when sitting for long hours, reduces oxygen intake and increases carbon dioxide retention. This shifts your body toward a slightly acidic state, making your cells work harder and age faster. Oxygen is the most essential nutrient for longevity. Without it, your brain fogs, your muscles fatigue, and your metabolism slows. Many people over 50 unconsciously take short, shallow breaths from the chest rather than deep diaphragmatic breaths. Over time, this starves tissues of oxygen, leading to fatigue, anxiety, poor sleep, and even hormonal imbalance. The skin loses its glow because oxygen isn't reaching it efficiently. The mind becomes restless, the heart rate rises, and small moments of tension accumulate into chronic stress. You can look older simply because your body is always operating in a state of low oxygen and high tension. Speaking of stress, one of the most powerful aging accelerators isn't physical, it's emotional. Chronic stress, whether from work, family, or even the quiet pressure of aging itself, floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones were designed for survival, but when they stay elevated for too long, they start to corrode from the inside. Cortisol breaks down collagen, making skin thinner and more prone to wrinkles. It increases blood sugar, raising the risk of diabetes and heart problems. It weakens the immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. And perhaps most importantly, it damages the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and emotional regulation. That's why chronic stress doesn't just make you feel older, it literally reshapes your brain to function like an older one. You might notice forgetfulness, irritability, or emotional numbness, and think it's just aging. In reality, it's the chemical fingerprint of stress left on your neurons. There's another mistake people make without realizing it: ignoring sleep quality. Many over 50 believe that poor sleep is just part of getting older, but it's often a consequence of lifestyle choices that can be corrected. When you sleep poorly, your body produces more ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and less leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full. You crave more sugar and carbs the next day. At the same time, your body misses out on the crucial hours of deep repair when growth hormone peaks and your tissues regenerate. Miss that window repeatedly, and your body can't heal the microscopic damage caused during the day. Over time, inflammation builds up, immunity weakens, and the brain accumulates toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's. The eyes look puffier, the skin loses elasticity, and emotional resilience fades. It's not just fatigue, it's biological acceleration of age. The irony is that most people don't fix their sleep because they think it's a symptom of aging, not a cause. Then there's diet, the small daily food choices that add up. Processed foods, excessive vegetable oils, and refined carbs are the silent trio that ages the body faster than time itself. They create chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and hormonal imbalances. After 50, your body becomes less efficient at neutralizing free radicals, those unstable molecules that damage DNA and accelerate cellular death. Eating processed foods is like throwing gasoline on a low fire. It amplifies the damage. You might not feel it immediately, but you'll see it in how your skin reacts, how your joints feel, and how your energy fluctuates. A diet heavy in inflammatory oils and low in antioxidants gradually strips away your body's ability to repair itself. Even seemingly healthy foods like certain packaged snacks or granola bars often contain seed oils and hidden sugars that promote this internal rusting. Over the years, they take away your glow, slow your metabolism, and cloud your mind. And then there's the often overlooked mistake of neglecting muscle. After 50, your body naturally loses muscle mass each decade unless you actively work to preserve it. This process, called sarcopenia, is one of the leading causes of frailty, poor balance, and falls in older adults. But it's not just about strength, it's about youth. Muscle tissue regulates blood sugar, supports hormone balance, and keeps your metabolism active. When you lose muscle, your body burns fewer calories, accumulates more fat, and produces more inflammatory molecules. You start feeling weaker, slower, and less confident in your movements. Many people think walking or daily chores are enough to maintain muscle, but resistance training is the real key. Without it, the body quietly transitions from strength to fragility, and that fragility translates directly to visible aging. Finally, There's one subtle but powerful mistake that few recognize: the loss of purpose. After 50, many people retire, children move out, or routines shift. That sense of being needed, of having something to wake up for, starts to fade. This emotional emptiness has physical consequences. Studies show that people without a clear sense of purpose have higher levels of inflammatory markers, weaker immune systems, and shorter lifespans. The body listens to the mind. When the mind believes there's no reason to keep pushing, the body obeys. You move less, eat worse, care less, and the aging process speeds up dramatically. But when you find purpose again, even something as simple as mentoring, gardening, or learning, it reignites biological vitality. The brain releases dopamine, motivation returns, and the immune system strengthens. Purpose is one of the most powerful anti-aging forces that medicine can't prescribe, but that you can create at any time. What's important to understand is that none of these mistakes happen in isolation. They overlap, compound, and amplify each other. Poor sleep increases cravings, leading to worse diet choices. A bad diet increases inflammation, making it harder to move or exercise. Lack of movement causes stiffness and poor circulation, worsening sleep and stress. It's a loop that keeps spinning until awareness interrupts it. The good news is that awareness is the first medicine. Once you begin to see the connections, you can gently start to unwind them. You don't have to fix everything at once. You only need to begin by noticing how your body feels after certain meals, how often you sit still, how your breath moves, how much water you drink, how rested you truly feel. Small corrections, repeated daily, create momentum. And that's where the journey begins, not with a miracle pill, not with an expensive routine, but with a quiet understanding of how the ordinary shapes the extraordinary. Most people over 50 don't realize how much power they still hold over their biology. Aging isn't a sentence, it's a story written day by day. The choices that age you faster are rarely dramatic. They're subtle, almost invisible. But awareness turns them into opportunities. The same morning routine that once drained your energy can become your fountain of vitality. Once you understand what's really happening beneath the surface, you can't stop time, but you can slow its effects and sometimes even reverse them. That realization, the moment you see how your daily habits write the code of your aging, is where transformation begins. Every hidden danger has a face, even if you can't see it. The truth is, the mistakes that age you faster don't just happen on your skin or in your joints. They unfold silently inside your blood, your nerves, your brain, and your heart. Most people over 50 don't feel the changes as they begin. There's no alarm bell, no sudden pain, just small signals, a little less energy, a bit more stiffness in the morning, occasional forgetfulness, or a fog that lingers through the day. These are not coincidences, they are warnings, subtle reminders that something inside you is struggling to keep up. Science now tells us that many of the most common habits we call normal are slowly programming our cells to age faster than nature intended. And the shocking part? Most of them begin decades before we even notice the consequences. Let's start with one of the most underestimated dangers: chronic inflammation. It sounds harmless, even ordinary, but chronic inflammation is one of the leading causes of accelerated aging. Doctors often call it inflammaging. It's not the kind of inflammation you feel when you sprain your ankle or cut your hand. It's internal, microscopic, and constant. It's your immune system in overdrive, always slightly on, constantly fighting invisible enemies that don't exist. What triggers it? Processed foods, lack of movement, stress, and even loneliness. When inflammation becomes chronic, it quietly damages the lining of your blood vessels, your joints, and even your DNA. The arteries stiffen, the heart strains harder, and the brain's communication pathways weaken. Imagine a tiny fire burning inside your body every single day, consuming your energy and tissue bit by bit. Over years, that slow fire can lead to arthritis, heart disease, memory loss, and even cancer. But inflammation doesn't act alone. It has an accomplice: oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is what happens when the body produces too many free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells. Normally, your body's antioxidants keep them under control. Yet with age, poor diet, pollution, and chronic stress, this balance collapses. Free radicals attack your cell membranes, your mitochondria, and your collagen. You don't see the battle, but you feel it as fatigue, dull skin, slower healing, and brain fog. Your cells lose their ability to replicate properly, and your DNA repair mechanisms weaken. Over time, it's like a photocopy of a photocopy, each new cell slightly less perfect than the one before. The result is visible aging on the outside and silent degeneration on the inside. That's why people who live under constant stress or eat heavily processed food often look older than their age. Their cells are literally burning out faster. One of the most deceptive dangers, however, lies in sugar. Not just the sweet kind you stir into coffee, but the hidden sugars in sauces, bread, and even healthy snacks. Sugar is more than a craving. It's a chemical saboteur. When excess glucose circulates in your blood, it binds with proteins in a process called glycation, creating harmful compounds known as AGEs, advanced glycation end products. Ironically, their name says it all. They make you age. AGEs stiffen tissues, weaken arteries, cloud the lenses of your eyes, and reduce skin elasticity. Inside the body, they accelerate the breakdown of collagen and elastin, the very proteins that keep your skin firm and your blood vessels supple. When researchers examine the tissues of older adults with high-sugar diets, they find literal caramelization, cells browned and hardened like the crust of overcooked bread. This isn't metaphor, it's physiology. The sweetness you taste today can harden your arteries tomorrow. And then there's the hidden harm of chronic stress, which few realize is as biologically corrosive as smoking. Every time you feel stress, whether from worry, frustration, or loneliness, your body releases cortisol. In short bursts, cortisol helps you survive, but when it lingers, it becomes toxic. Long-term cortisol exposure breaks down muscle, increases belly fat, suppresses immunity, and erodes memory. It shrinks the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for learning and emotional regulation. This is why chronic stress doesn't just make you tired, it makes you older. Scientists can now measure this through telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes. Every time a cell divides, telomeres shorten. Stress accelerates this shortening dramatically. In other words, high stress can make your biological age older than your real age. A calm 70-year-old can have the cells of a 50-year-old, while a stressed 50-year-old may have the cells of someone in their 70s. Another risk lies in something we often underestimate: sleep deprivation. Sleep isn't just rest, it's regeneration. During deep sleep, your brain flushes out toxins, your cells repair DNA, and your immune system resets. When you cut that process short, even by an hour or two, the consequences are cumulative. Your blood sugar regulation worsens, your metabolism slows, and your brain accumulates beta amyloid, a sticky protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. Over time, poor sleep alters the balance of hormones like leptin and ghrelin, making you hungrier and less satisfied after eating. It also increases cortisol, compounding stress and inflammation. Studies show that people who consistently sleep less than 7 hours a night have shorter telomeres and higher markers of aging. You may not feel the full damage immediately, but your body does. Let's talk about diet once more, not just sugar, but the fats that quietly shape your health. Decades ago, vegetable oils were marketed as heart-healthy, but many of these oils, canola, soybean, corn, are chemically unstable when heated. They oxidize easily, forming compounds that damage your arteries and cells. These oils are hidden in almost every packaged or restaurant food you can name. They alter the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids in your body, tipping the balance toward inflammation. Your cell's membranes, made largely of fats, become stiffer and less efficient. It's not an exaggeration to say that the oil you cook with determines how your cells communicate and repair themselves. Over time, this imbalance contributes to everything from heart disease to cognitive decline. The tragedy is that people think they're eating light or healthy, unaware that the oil they're using accelerates their biological clock. Next, consider inactivity, the modern plague. After 50, muscle tissue naturally declines, but inactivity speeds that decline exponentially. When you stop challenging your muscles, your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside each cell, begin to shut down. Without strong muscle contractions to stimulate them, these mitochondria lose efficiency, reducing energy output and increasing oxidative stress. The result is fatigue, slower metabolism, and a higher risk of chronic disease. It's not just physical strength you lose, it's resilience. Every hour spent sitting without movement signals the body to conserve energy, which in evolutionary terms translates into decay. It's the body's way of saying, we're no longer needed for survival. The longer you stay still, the faster that biological message becomes your reality. Then there's alcohol, a habit many consider harmless, even healthy in moderation. But after 50, your liver's ability to metabolize alcohol declines. What once felt like a light drink now lingers longer in your bloodstream, generating more acetaldehyde, a toxic compound that damages DNA and proteins. Alcohol also dehydrates your tissues, strips the skin of elasticity, and interferes with nutrient absorption. It lowers your levels of B vitamins, magnesium, and zinc, all vital for cellular repair. And while a glass of red wine might offer antioxidants, the trade-off often outweighs the benefit when the liver is already overburdened. Over years, even moderate drinking can contribute to fatty liver, increased blood pressure, and cognitive decline. The face shows it first, puffiness, redness, broken capillaries, but the real damage is deeper, in the brain and liver. Perhaps the most subtle risk of all is loneliness. Medical research now equates social isolation to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of mortality risk. Humans are wired for connection, and after 50, as children grow up and social circles shrink, isolation becomes common. The problem isn't just emotional, it's physiological. Loneliness elevates cortisol, raises inflammation, weakens immunity, and even alters gene expression related to immune function. The body perceives loneliness as a threat, a signal of vulnerability. As a result, it stays in a mild but chronic state of fight or flight. Over time, that wears down every system. Your body ages faster when it believes it's alone. And what's worse, loneliness reduces motivation for self-care. You move less, eat poorly, and sleep irregularly. It becomes a self-perpetuating cycle that only awareness can break. Lastly, there's the danger of ignoring medical checkups. Many people over 50 avoid regular blood work or screenings because they feel fine. But diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and early kidney dysfunction often progress silently for years. By the time symptoms appear, damage has already occurred. Ignoring these early warnings is one of the most common mistakes that lead to accelerated aging. When blood sugar, blood pressure, or cholesterol remain unchecked, they slowly corrode the inner walls of your arteries, depriving your organs of oxygen. This internal corrosion doesn't just shorten life, it diminishes its quality. The tragedy isn't just dying sooner, it's living longer with fatigue, pain, and cognitive decline that could have been prevented with awareness. The science of aging is no longer about counting years, it's about counting exposures, to stress, to sugar, to inflammation, to neglect. Every exposure adds a layer of wear, like sandpaper against your cells. But knowing the risks is not meant to frighten you, it's meant to awaken you. Because the same mechanisms that accelerate aging can also be reversed when you take action. The inflammation that stiffens your arteries can calm. The oxidative stress that clouds your mind can fade. The sugar that hardens your collagen can be controlled. But to reverse what's been done, you first need to understand what's happening inside. The risks are real, but they are not your fate. They are invitations to see, to adjust, to reclaim control. The body is incredibly forgiving. Even after years of hidden damage, it responds to care faster than you'd imagine. Within days of proper hydration, your skin regains brightness. Within weeks of movement, your circulation improves. Within months of balanced eating and better sleep, your hormones stabilize and your energy returns. But first, you must recognize the silent forces working against you. Because the greatest danger of all isn't any one habit, it's complacency, the quiet belief that nothing can change. Aging fast is not destiny, it's a dialogue between your choices and your biology. And that dialogue can change at any moment, starting with awareness. Imagine your body as a vast city, every cell a building, every artery a road, every breath a delivery of life. For decades, this city has run smoothly. It has adjusted to storms, healed from earthquakes, and rebuilt its bridges after damage. But as the years pass, certain mistakes, repeated daily, begin to wear down its foundation. The traffic slows, the air thickens, the lights flicker. You don't notice it at first because the decline is subtle, but underneath something is shifting. That's what accelerated aging feels like. Not an explosion, but an erosion. Every cell, every organ, every tiny process becomes a little less efficient, a little less alive. And the danger is not just in feeling older. It's in becoming biologically older than your years, in the quiet way your body starts to behave as if it's a decade ahead of schedule. Inside your arteries, the process begins with small cracks, microscopic injuries caused by inflammation, sugar, and stress. The walls that once expanded with each heartbeat start to stiffen. The blood, once rich and fluid, thickens slightly, moving slower through the veins. Tiny deposits of cholesterol form at the damaged spots like pebbles in a river. Over time, these pebbles become boulders. The flow narrows. The heart, loyal but overworked, beats harder to push the same volume of blood. The pressure rises. The cells on the other end, the ones in your brain, your eyes, your skin, begin receiving less oxygen. You feel it as fatigue. You see it as dullness. The spark of vitality that once animated your movements becomes slower to ignite. This is how cardiovascular aging begins, not with a heart attack, but with a quiet loss of flow, of oxygen, of life. In your brain, something similar happens. Neurons communicate through delicate networks that depend on clean blood flow and chemical balance. But when inflammation and oxidative stress take hold, the synapses, the connectors between neurons, start to weaken. Imagine a city where the power grid flickers unpredictably. Some neighborhoods go dark for seconds, others for hours. That's how the aging brain begins to feel, moments of clarity followed by lapses in focus, memory, or motivation. Chronic stress amplifies this damage by flooding the brain with cortisol, which breaks down neural tissue and disrupts sleep. Over time, cortisol reshapes the hippocampus, making it smaller and less capable of storing new memories. It also blunts the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning, patience, and emotional control. You might find yourself more reactive, more easily overwhelmed, or more detached. It's not weakness, it's biology. Your brain is adapting to survive in a state of constant alarm. Meanwhile, your skin, your body's largest organ, tells its own story. With every year of dehydration, sugar spikes, and sun exposure, collagen fibers become brittle. They tangle and break like old threads in worn fabric. The result isn't just wrinkles. It's a loss of structure. Your skin becomes thinner, less elastic, slower to heal. Capillaries weaken, leading to redness or broken veins. And beneath the surface, the fat layer that once kept your face full and youthful begins to shrink. You wake up one morning and notice something subtle. Your reflection doesn't match how you feel inside. That's the visible side of cellular decline. But what's invisible is far more telling. The mitochondria inside those skin cells, once buzzing with energy, now sluggish, producing less ATP, the fuel that keeps every cell alive. With less ATP, repair slows, detoxification weakens, and the chain reaction of aging continues. In the gut, years of processed foods, stress, and inconsistent meals disrupt the microbiome, the vast ecosystem of bacteria that control digestion, immunity, and even mood. When these bacteria fall out of balance, inflammation spreads system-wide. The lining of your intestines becomes more permeable, allowing toxins and undigested food particles into the bloodstream, triggering immune responses that weren't meant to happen. Scientists call this leaky gut, but what it really means is that your body is now fighting itself. Every meal becomes a small battle. The consequences ripple outward: bloating, fatigue, joint pain, and even brain fog. The gut and brain communicate constantly through the vagus nerve, and when the gut is inflamed, so is the mind. The connection between what you eat and how you think is not philosophical, it's physiological. In the muscles, another transformation takes place. Without regular strength training, your muscle fibers shrink, and fat infiltrates the tissue. This isn't just cosmetic, it alters your metabolism. Muscle is the body's most metabolically active tissue. It burns energy even at rest. When muscle mass declines, so does metabolic rate. That means your body becomes less efficient at burning calories and regulating blood sugar. The result? Fat accumulates more easily, especially around the abdomen, which in turn produces inflammatory molecules that damage organs and accelerate aging. This cascade is why inactivity can age the body a decade faster. It's not just loss of strength, it's loss of metabolic youth. And once muscle loss crosses a certain threshold, it becomes harder to reverse because the hormones that build muscle, testosterone, growth hormone, and DHEA, also decline with age. Without stimulation, the entire system downshifts, leaving the body weaker, slower, and more fragile. The lungs, too, feel the consequences of modern life. Shallow breathing and poor posture reduce lung capacity, meaning less oxygen enters the bloodstream. Over time, your cells adapt to this low oxygen environment by slowing down their energy output. You may not notice it consciously, but it manifests as fatigue, low mood, or anxiety. Oxygen is the spark of every metabolic reaction. When it's in short supply, every system runs dim. And because the brain consumes 20% of the body's oxygen, it suffers first. The fog that many people over 50 describe isn't just mental, it's metabolic. It's the mind starving for oxygen that never fully arrives. Inside your bones, a quieter erosion is taking place. By the time most people reach 50, bone density begins to decline. But what accelerates this isn't age. It's inactivity, lack of sunlight, and low calcium and vitamin D intake. When your bones weaken, your body compensates by tightening muscles to protect joints, leading to stiffness and pain. The nervous system, sensing instability, becomes hypervigilant, which increases tension even further. You begin to move less, which then worsens bone loss. It's a loop that continues until one day a small fall becomes a fracture, and that fracture becomes the turning point many never recover from. Yet this spiral starts years earlier, in the small daily choices, avoiding sunlight, skipping walks, neglecting strength training, that quietly weaken your foundation. Even your immune system, the invisible army guarding your body, ages faster through neglect. Chronic inflammation and stress exhaust white blood cells, making them slower to respond. The thymus, the gland that produces T cells, shrinks with age, reducing your ability to fight infections and repair tissues. This is why wounds heal slower, colds last longer, and fatigue lingers more with each passing year. But the most concerning part is how immune aging intertwines with other systems. When the immune system becomes dysregulated, it can start attacking your own tissues, leading to autoimmune conditions. It's a betrayal that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. At the same time, hormonal shifts accelerate visible and invisible aging. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all decline, affecting everything from mood to metabolism to bone health. These hormones act as conductors of the body's orchestra, keeping systems in harmony. When they wane, chaos follows. Sleep becomes lighter, memory less reliable, and emotional resilience thinner. The skin loses moisture, and the body stores more fat even with the same diet. The decline is natural, but lifestyle can determine how steep it becomes. The difference between graceful and accelerated aging often lies in how you support your hormones through movement, diet, and stress control. And perhaps the most underestimated impact of all is on the heart. Not the physical organ, but the emotional one. Years of unresolved stress, disappointment, or loneliness leave biochemical scars. The heart and brain communicate constantly through electrical signals and hormones. Emotional pain sends real impulses that alter heart rhythm and blood pressure. That's why grief can cause literal chest pain, and chronic sadness can weaken the immune system. The heart is not just a pump, it's an emotional sensor that records every wound. When neglected, the weight of emotional pain becomes physiological, manifesting as high blood pressure, arrhythmia, or chronic fatigue. But when cared for through connection, compassion, and purpose, it strengthens in measurable ways. The combined impact of these internal processes explains why two people the same age can look and feel entirely different. One may move with energy and clarity, the other with stiffness and fatigue. The difference isn't luck, It's biology responding to environment. Every cigarette, every late night, every stressful day, every missed walk accumulates like sediment in a river, narrowing the flow of vitality. But the body, even after decades of neglect, never stops listening. Every positive change you make, every deep breath, every stretch, every mindful meal signals to your cells that repair is possible. The decline slows, the energy returns, the city lights come back on, one by one. This is the truth about aging faster than your years. It's not a sudden collapse, but a conversation between your body and your habits. When you listen closely, you can hear what it's been trying to tell you all along. That fatigue is not normal, that stiffness is not inevitable, that forgetfulness is not your destiny. These are messages, not verdicts. And the more you understand the impact of your daily choices, the more power you reclaim over the pace of your own aging. There's a quiet relief that comes when you finally realize the body isn't your enemy. It was never trying to betray you, it's been trying to protect you. Every ache, every moment of fatigue, every wrinkle or stiffness is not punishment. It's communication. It's the body saying, I need different fuel. I need softer rhythms. I need you to listen. And once you begin to listen, everything changes. Because aging isn't about decay. It's about adaptation. The same way the earth renews itself after every storm, your body can too, if you give it the right conditions. You've spent years, maybe decades, repeating habits that dulled your vitality, unaware of what they were costing you. But the moment awareness enters, healing begins. The same choices that once aged you can now restore you. The same daily rituals that quietly stole energy can be restructured to give it back. And the beauty of it is, you don't need perfection. You only need consistency, awareness, and kindness toward yourself. Let's start with something simple yet powerful: hydration. When you begin to drink enough water, really enough, not just a glass here and there, your cells respond almost instantly. Within days, your blood becomes less viscous, making it easier for your heart to circulate oxygen. Your kidneys flush toxins more efficiently. Your brain, composed mostly of water, begins to fire signals faster. Even your skin starts to reflect the change. It regains a faint glow, the kind that comes not from cosmetics, but from circulation. A well-hydrated cell is like a fresh seed. It grows, repairs, and functions beautifully. The fatigue that once felt constant begins to fade. You think clearer. You recover faster. Hydration sounds too ordinary to matter, but it's the quiet foundation of youth, and it's the first message your body whispers when you start to listen. Next comes nourishment. Not restriction, not complicated diets, but real nourishment. The foods that support longevity are not exotic or expensive. They are simple, colorful, and alive. Think of deep greens, berries, olive oil, garlic, avocados, salmon, turmeric, ginger. These foods are not just calories, they are information. Every bite sends signals to your cells. Repair, rebuild, protect. Antioxidants in fruits and vegetables neutralize free radicals that cause oxidative stress. Omega-3 fats from fish and seeds calm inflammation. Polyphenols in olive oil strengthen blood vessels and feed beneficial gut bacteria. When you eat whole, unprocessed foods, you are literally rewriting your body's code. Within weeks, inflammation markers drop, blood pressure stabilizes, energy returns to levels you thought were gone forever. Food is not just fuel, it's medicine written in flavor. And movement, it's the language your body understands best. You don't need to run marathons or lift heavy weights, you simply need to move with intention. Every time you walk, stretch or lift something, you send a message to your muscles: stay alive, stay useful. Movement increases circulation, which means more oxygen to your cells, more energy to your brain, and better detoxification through your lymphatic system. It stimulates growth hormone and testosterone, slowing down muscle loss and bone decline. It even repairs mitochondrial function, helping your cells produce energy more efficiently. But perhaps the most overlooked benefit is psychological. Movement changes mood. It lowers cortisol, releases endorphins, and resets your emotional rhythm. A walk in the morning sun, even for 15 minutes, can lower inflammation markers and stabilize your circadian rhythm for better sleep that night. That's how interconnected your body truly is. Each positive habit feeds another. Speaking of sunlight, do not fear it, respect it. Sunlight triggers the production of vitamin D, one of the most powerful anti-aging hormones in existence. It strengthens bones, supports immune health, and regulates mood. Just 10 to 20 minutes of sunlight daily, preferably in the early morning or late afternoon, helps your body produce vitamin D naturally. Combined with magnesium and vitamin K2, it directs calcium into your bones instead of your arteries, preventing stiffness and calcification. The sun, long demonized, is not the enemy. It's the clock that sets your body's rhythm. Exposure to natural light during the day tells your brain when to release melatonin at night. That's why sunlight and sleep go hand in hand. One restores, the other repairs. Sleep, when respected, becomes your most powerful medicine. You don't need more hours, you need better ones. The key lies in rhythm. Going to bed and waking up at the same time, avoiding screens an hour before bed and creating darkness. Deep sleep is when your body produces growth hormone, the chemical of regeneration. It rebuilds tissues, strengthens bones, balances metabolism, and even clears beta amyloid from your brain. If hydration is the body's foundation, sleep is its architect. Without it, every other effort is half as effective. With it, healing accelerates naturally. Many people notice that after improving sleep quality, weight balances, mood stabilizes, and mental clarity returns, all without additional effort. Because sleep is not rest, it's renewal. Then there's breath, the simplest, most accessible tool you have. Deep diaphragmatic breathing floods your blood with oxygen, lowers cortisol, and signals your nervous system that you are safe. Just a few minutes of slow breathing can shift your body out of fight or flight mode and into repair mode. Oxygen-rich blood nourishes your organs and detoxifies waste through your lungs. The rhythm of your breath directly controls your heart rate variability, one of the strongest indicators of longevity. When you learn to breathe fully, deep into your belly, slowly through your nose, you're not just calming your mind, you're extending your life. Let's not forget muscle preservation, the physical symbol of youth. Muscle mass isn't just about strength, it's about metabolic control. The more muscle you maintain, the more efficiently your body uses glucose, the better your posture, and the stronger your bones. Resistance training, even simple bodyweight exercises like squats or push-ups, can reverse years of muscle loss. Studies show that people in their 70s who begin light strength training can regain muscle density comparable to someone 20 years younger. That's how adaptable the human body is. It never stops responding to stimulus, no matter your age. And when your muscles strengthen, something else happens. You begin to feel more confident in your body, more capable, more alive. Hormonal balance is another area where small changes yield huge relief. Proper nutrition, movement, and sleep regulate insulin, cortisol, and sex hormones. For women, balancing estrogen and progesterone through diet and stress management can ease hot flashes, insomnia, and mood swings. For men, resistance training and healthy fats support testosterone levels, preserving vitality and mental focus. Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, maca, or rhodiola can further support hormonal resilience, while magnesium and zinc restore equilibrium to systems worn down by stress. Your hormones are not isolated chemicals, they're messengers between your body and your habits. Treat them with care and they'll reward you with stability and youth. And there's the invisible yet profound healing power of connection. Loneliness, as science shows, is one of the most toxic states for the body. But connection, through community, friendship, love, has the opposite effect. It strengthens immunity, reduces inflammation, and extends lifespan. When you laugh with someone, your body releases oxytocin, which lowers blood pressure and calms the nervous system. When you share kindness, your body produces serotonin, improving mood and digestion. Connection is medicine that no pharmacy sells, but every heart can generate. Even brief, meaningful interactions each day, talking to a neighbor, volunteering, or simply calling a friend, have measurable effects on your health. Humans are not designed to thrive alone. Togetherness is biology's antidote to decay. You can also bring your body back into balance by managing stress differently. Meditation, journaling, prayer, time in nature, these are not luxuries, they are essential maintenance for the mind. When you reduce stress, you lower cortisol, improve immune function, and preserve memory. The key is consistency. Just 5 or 10 minutes a day of intentional stillness retrains your nervous system to live in calm instead of crisis. Your blood pressure drops, your heart rate steadies, the inner noise quiets. The body, no longer under siege, begins to rebuild itself from within. And here's where science meets hope. Telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes, respond directly to lifestyle changes. Studies show that when people eat whole foods, exercise, manage stress, and maintain connection, their telomeres lengthen. That means the biological clock can literally slow down, sometimes even reverse. Your cells don't care how old you are chronologically. They care how you live. The path to relief is not a list of restrictions. It's a return to rhythm. The rhythm of hydration, of movement, of daylight, of rest, of nourishment, of connection. When you live in sync with those rhythms, your body remembers what vitality feels like. Your energy stabilizes, your mind clears, your skin brightens, your spirit lifts. And that's when you realize that aging gracefully is not about chasing youth. It's about aligning with your biology, treating it not as a machine to fix, but as a garden to tend. Your body wants to heal. It always has. The question is whether you'll give it permission. Because every positive choice, no matter how small, signals to your cells that you still believe in their power to renew. The day you start listening, that's the day aging slows. Empowerment begins in silence. The moment you realize that your body is not aging against you, but with you. That every cell, every breath, every heartbeat still answers to your command. The years behind you are not chains, they are lessons. And now with awareness you can turn everything you've learned, every mistake, every moment of neglect, into wisdom that rewrites the next chapter of your life. This is where you reclaim authorship of your story, not as someone trying to chase youth, but as someone determined to master vitality. Because aging well is not about how long you live, but how alive you feel while you do. You see, the body doesn't need perfection. It needs attention. When you begin to notice your habits, you begin to regain control. You drink water not out of duty, but out of understanding that hydration is life itself. You move not to burn calories, but because you can feel your muscles thanking you. You rest not because you're tired, but because you know regeneration requires stillness. You eat real food not to diet, but to feed the cells that have carried you faithfully through every storm. Each choice becomes an act of respect, a quiet promise to yourself that your future deserves better care than your past received. That is the essence of empowerment, not fear of time, but partnership with it. And the truth is you have more power than you think. The human body is astonishingly forgiving. It listens. It adapts. It heals, even after decades of neglect. When you change your input, you change your outcome. A single week of better sleep can reset hormones. A few days of proper hydration can improve circulation. A month of gentle movement can restore flexibility and energy. A year of mindful living can make you feel 10 years younger, not because of magic, but because you stopped fighting your biology and started working with it. You stopped rushing through your days as if they were obstacles and started living them as opportunities for renewal. This is the secret most people never learn. Vitality is not found in extremes, but in rhythm. The body loves consistency. Wake at the same time, move daily, eat with intention, rest when the sun goes down. Live in harmony with your own natural clock. Your hormones will stabilize, your digestion will calm, your mood will even out. The chaotic modern world trains us to live against ourselves, to ignore hunger, to push through fatigue, to silence pain. But wisdom lies in returning to simplicity, in listening again, in trusting that your body knows the way back to balance, if only you'll stop interrupting it. Think of aging not as a decline, but as a refinement. Like a tree that deepens its roots each year, you're meant to become stronger, steadier, and more grounded. The body may change, yes, but that change can mean resilience instead of weakness. The lines on your face can tell stories of endurance, not exhaustion. The calm in your heart can replace the anxiety of youth. You don't need to fear time, you need to cooperate with it. Every day you honor your body's needs, you slow the clock. Every day you neglect them, you speed it up. That's the truth hidden in plain sight. Empowerment also means letting go of guilt. Many people over 50 carry regret about how they treated their bodies before. Too much stress, too little sleep, too many processed foods. But guilt does nothing for healing. Gratitude does. Gratitude for the fact that your body still responds, still heals, still serves you faithfully. Every scar, every wrinkle, every ache is proof that you've lived, that your body has carried you through countless battles and still wakes up ready to fight another day. Speak to it with respect. Feed it with kindness. Move it with appreciation. Because the way you treat your body is the way it learns to trust you again. And empowerment isn't only physical, it's mental. The mind drives the body. If you believe decline is inevitable, your body obeys that belief. But if you decide that vitality is possible, your biology begins to align with that conviction. Studies on placebo and mindset show that expectation shapes outcome. People who believe they are aging well often live longer and healthier lives, not by luck, but by physiological change. Optimism reduces stress hormones, strengthens immunity, and improves cellular repair. So when you wake up in the morning, your thoughts are not just abstract. They're chemical instructions your body listens to. Tell it the truth you want it to live. Begin to see each day as a chance to restore something. Maybe it's your strength, maybe it's your calm, maybe it's your connection to others. The goal is not perfection, it's direction. Momentum matters more than speed. If you drink one more glass of water today, you're already winning. If you take one more walk, stretch for 5 more minutes, choose one less processed meal, you're rewriting your biology in real time. The progress may be invisible at first, but deep inside your cells are taking notes. The repair enzymes activate. The blood flow improves. The heart rate steadies. The brain clears. The future changes course quietly, one decision at a time. You have to remember something profound. Aging fast is not your fault, but aging consciously is your choice. And that choice can begin any moment, even right now as you listen to this. The body you have is the only one you will ever own, but it is also the most extraordinary piece of living technology in existence. It replaces itself cell by cell every few years. It learns, adjusts, and rewires constantly. Treat it well, and it rewards you with decades of energy and clarity. Ignore it, and it declines not out of malice, but out of exhaustion. Your body doesn't age, it adapts. The question is to what? Now is the time to redefine what aging means to you. It's not surrender, it's evolution. The goal is not to look 20 again, but to feel capable, sharp, and alive at 70, 80, and beyond. Imagine walking with steady steps, waking up without pain, thinking clearly, laughing deeply. Imagine your reflection not as a reminder of time lost, but as evidence of wisdom gained. That future exists. It's waiting for the choices you make today. Empowerment is also about sharing what you've learned. When you take charge of your health, you don't just change your life. You become an example. Your friends, your children, your community will see the difference. They'll see that vitality at 50, 60, or 70 isn't luck. It's awareness turned into action. You'll inspire others to care, to move, to breathe, to drink water, to rest, to reconnect. Because the real power of health is not private, it ripples outward. Your transformation can awaken others, and perhaps the most important realization of all, it's never too late. The moment you start living with awareness, your cells listen. The heart starts to repair, the mind begins to clear, the skin brightens, the spirit steadies. This isn't hope, it's biology. The body is designed to heal until its last breath. You simply need to give it the conditions it's been asking for all along. So take a deep breath. Feel your pulse. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a wiser one. You are not defined by the years you've lived, but by the energy you create now. You still have time to restore what's been lost, to strengthen what's been weakened, to shine from the inside out. The body remembers how to be young, it just needs you to remind it. That's the true secret to aging well. Not denial, not fear, but partnership. You and your body, finally on the same side. Working together toward one purpose, a life that doesn't just last but thrives.